Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. So it is now 2004, so 1 year before, or the season before the lockout season. We're doing pretty good. We are first in the East. We cannot be too complacent till the Flyers are really after us. They're only 4 points behind, although they did play 2 more games than us. Couple losses on our end, and that could be, all that's needed for them to sneak by. So definitely it's going to be something we want to keep an eye on. Looks like we're going to be pretty busy in January. We're playing pretty much every other day, and in the first 19 days of the month, we're going to play the Islanders 3 times for some reason. We're probably going to be pretty tired of seeing them after that. We still have some injuries. None of them should be for very much longer. Volchenkov, Osa, and Datsuk are still injured. And as usual, prior to starting the video, I took a look at what's on the trading block, and we are not going to make a move unless I want to overpay for a guy that's probably going to play on my 4th line, if at all. So that's not going to happen. So we are going to stay put with what we have. Alright, so first on the menu for tonight are the Islanders, which, as I mentioned, we're going to play quite a bit this month. Islanders are doing alright. They are 18, 15, and 4, which is good for 7th in the East. We are 0-1 against the Islanders. They shut us out 2-0 in Uniondale. Alright, so let's get going. Alright, so the Islanders are going to send Rick DiPietro for that one. We're going to go to the good old trusted Ryan Miller. And go Sens go, of course. Alright, we won this game 4-1. Another good start to a month. We outshot the Islanders 50-18. Alexei Yashin was the first star of that game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Jason Spezza was the second star with 2 assists, and Nicholas Avlid was the third star with a goal. We had 14,961 people in attendance for that one. Alright, so nobody scored in the first period. And then we scored the first goal in the second. It was Nicholas Avlid from Chris Kelly and Alexei Yashin. Then Dick Tarnstrom for the Islanders tied the game late in the second. But before the period would be over, we scored twice. Yashin scored from Spezza and Phillips. And then Joe Thornton from Yashin and Spezza. It was 3-1 after 2. And then finally, in the third period, Adam Denmarsh scored his 5th on the power play, assisted by Joe Thornton. It was 4-1 the final score. Pretty good game. Alright, so Timo Parssinen is available. Good for him. Mario Lemieux extends his point streak to 18 games with 2 assists against Nashville. Oh, that's going to hurt the Devils. They lost Brian Rafalski to injury for 4 months with a fractured elbow. 30 years old, Brian Rafalski, 3-star player. Eugene Melnick is still very happy with my work as general manager. We went 12-1-1 last month. Even Melnick has to admit that, I bring results. Strong game for Paul Carrier, who had 4 assists against Buffalo. Strong game for Andy McDonald in that same game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Alright, and we are about to play the Capitals at home. So the Capitals, and I mentioned that last time we played them, for once are pretty good. They are 22-14-3, and they are third in the East. That means they're first in their division. We did win against them, however. It was 4-2 win back at home. That one as well. Alright, so they are going to be playing Milan Nelichka in net, and we are going to Tim Thomas, who I believe didn't even play a game in December. He must be rusty. I guess he was. We lost 4-2. Alright, so we outshot Washington 51-26. Jeff Alpern was the first star with a goal and an assist. Martin Avlat was the second star with an assist. And Nelichka was the third star with 49 saves. We had 16,132 people in attendance for that game. Alright, so Washington scored first, so again no score in the first period, and then Washington scored first, and then we tied it up. It was Brian McCabe from Alexei Yashin, and then Washington scored twice more, so Washington basically did to us what we just did to the Islanders. They took a 3-1 lead after 2. Except we scored at the start of the third, made it 3-2. It was Zdeno Chara from Sheldon Sore and Martin Avlat. 3-2 the score, but with 9:50 to go in the game, the Capitals scored again. It was 4-2, and that was all she wrote for that one. Oh. Steven Alco is available. Martin Prusek, Jason Marshall. Yep, they're gonna stay there. Scott Nicol is back from suspension in Tampa Bay. Ooh, Pat Burns might become available. He's in trouble as coach of the Maple Leafs. The Leafs are 12-23-5. Alright, so Datsyuk is doing better. Osa's doing better. Volchenkov's doing better, but none of them are actually back. Alright, and we are about to play the Lightning. Oh, Mark Popovich of Anaheim has been suspended. He's going to miss 7 games. Alright, my players are healthier, but still not back. Alright, we are playing Tampa Bay with our awesome rivalry that we have against them. Tampa Bay is 12-24-1, so they are really struggling. They are last in the East. If I remember correctly, they have Vincent Lecavalier that's hurt for a while. And we won the first 2 meetings against them, 6-3 and 5-4. So let's go. Alright, so Kevin Weeks in net for Tampa Bay. We're going back to Ryan Miller. And we won 3-2. Was not as easy as I would have hoped, but we did win. Oh dear God. We outshot Tampa Bay 38-8. So Alexei Yashin was the first star of that game. He had a goal and an assist. Bryce Salvador for Tampa Bay was the second star with an assist, and Michael Ryder was the third star for us with a goal. There were 14,413 people in attendance for that game. So Tampa Bay actually took a 1-0 lead into that game. And it was 1-0 after 1. Then we scored twice in the second. We had Michael Ryder score from Brian McCabe and Alexei Yashin. Then Mike Sillinger scored on the power play from Daniel Alfredson and Magnus Arvidsson. It was 2-1 after 2. And then in the third, Alexei Yashin scored on the power play from Patrick Eliash, made it 3-1. And then Tampa Bay scored, made it 3-2, but they ran out of time and we won the game. Oh, Kevin Adams of Tampa Bay got suspended for something he did in the game against us. He's going to miss 5 games. Do I have an injury? I don't see an injury for us, so I guess at least we Didn't lose a player out of it. Pavel Demitra has a memorable game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Blues. Alright, so Datsyuk is healed. So that's good. Alright, and Ken Klee is available. And then John Gruden. Which is, as a Sens fan, it's weird because we have a prospect in our pipelines named John Gruden, but it's Jonathan Gruden, so it's Jon Gruden. So I knew when we had that guy in our pipeline, I knew that there was another guy that played in the league that was named John Gruden. I just couldn't remember where or what. Well, he's right there. I see him now. So that's that. All right. So Marian Osa is... I think Osa is ready. I think that's what it meant. Yes, welcome home, Marian Osa. We missed you. I mean, we still won without you, but I'd rather you be on the lineup than Ladislav Nagy, who's going back to Binghamton. Alright, and we are going to be playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are 13, 24, and 5, really struggling in Toronto, as well as we just saw with the Pat Burns news that he might be losing his job. That they are 12th in the East. So we are 1-0 against the Leafs so far. It was back at home. We beat them 6-0. Alright, so Ryan Miller in net for the Sens, Jean-Sébastien Giguère in the net for Toronto. And we won 5-0, pretty good. I think any Sens fan would take that. After 2 games against the Leafs, they still have to score a goal against us. It's pretty good. So we have outshot them 47-16. Joe Thornton was the first star. He had 2 goals and an assist. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with 2 assists. And Daniel Alfredson was the third star with a goal and an assist. So Alfredson scored the first goal of the game in the first from Joe Thornton and Pavel Datsyuk. It was 1-0 after 1. Then in the second period, Joe Thornton scored his 5th from Zdeno Chara and Daniel Alfredson. Then Sheldon Surrey from Martin Havlat and Jason Spezza. And then Joe Thornton short-handed from Pavel Datsyuk, 4-0 after 2. And then finally in the third period, Patrick Eliash scored on the power play. It was his 15th of the season, assisted by Brian McCabe. 5-0 is your final score. Bad news for Atlanta. Daniel Corso is hurt. He's going to miss 7 months with a torn anterior cruciate ligament. Alright, and we are now going to be playing in Buffalo. So Buffalo's kind of the verge there. They're kind of in the mix for the last spot in the East. They currently hold 8th spot. They are 20-20-2. We are 3-0 against the Sabres this season. We have been pretty good against them. So Ryan Miller is in net for us, as usual. Dominik Hasek in net for Buffalo. And it's a tie, 4-4. We outshot Buffalo 69-20. So is that Brian Adams, I think? Yeah, Brian Adams was the first star of that game for Buffalo. He had 2 assists. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Antunen was the third star with an assist. So we took a 2-0 lead into the first period. Matt Cullen scored his 10th from Brian McCabe and Mike Salinger. Then Pavel Datsyuk with his 15th from Marian Osa and Joe Thornton, 2-0 after 1. Then Buffalo scored a goal in the second, made it 2-1. And then actually Buffalo scored 3 straight at the start of the third period, made it 4-2 Buffalo. But then we scored 2 goals in 30 seconds. Alexei Yashin scored from Zdeno Chara, and 30 seconds later Daniel Alfredson scored from Sheldon Surrey and Pavel Datsyuk. It was tied at 4. Obviously nobody scored in overtime. So 4 for tie. Alexei Kovalev now has 900 points in the NHL. Pretty good, with an assist against the Islanders. And now we are playing in Carolina against the Hurricanes. Hurricanes are 17, 22, and 3. That's good for 10th in the East. They're going to need to get on a winning streak soon if they want to have a shot at the playoffs. We played 1 game against Carolina this year, and we lost in overtime 4-3 at home. So we are definitely looking to avenge that loss. Ryan Miller is going to be in net as usual. Steve Valiquette in net for the Hurricanes. I guess Sean Burke's days are numbered there. And we won 2-1. So Carolina's playing us tight this season. We outshot them 54-19. Steve Valiquette was the first star with 52 saves despite the loss. Pavel Dimitra was the second star with a goal, and then Mike Sillinger was the third star with a goal as well. So we traded goals in the second period. Pavel Dimitra scored first, made it 1-0 Carolina. Then Mike Sillinger scored his 5th from Adam Denmarsh and Matt Cullen. It was tied at 1. Then in the third period, Alexei Yashin scored from Daniel Alfredson and Joe Thornton, made it 2-1, and that score would hold. All right. Doug Waite lights the lamp with the Rangers. He had a hat-trick against Tampa Bay, 3 goals. And now we have a trade proposal from the New Jersey Devils, who want to trade us Jason Riznar for Sami Salo. No. I said no. No way. Alright, and we are about to play the Devils, who just made us a trade offer. Mario Lemieux's point streak ended at 18 games. He did not get a point against Philadelphia. Suspension for Daniel Cleary in Chicago. He's going to miss 4 games. Alright, the Devils, they are 21, 15, and 5. That's good for 7th in the East. We are 2-0 against the Devils. Both games were at home. We're playing them on the road for the first time this season. Ryan Miller is going to be in net for us. He's going to face Martin Brodeur. And we won 6-1. We outshot the Devils 51-18. Alexei Yashin was the first star of that game with a goal and 2 assists. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with 2 assists. And Sheldon Surrey was the third star with a goal. Alright, so the Devils scored first. And then it was all us. So they scored first in the first. And then we scored 3 goals before the end of the first period. Tim Gleason scored from Yashin and Datsyuk. Then Mike Sillinger from Michael Ryder and Matt Cullen. And then finally Alfredson on the power play from Patrick Elias, 3-1 after 1. In the second period, Jason Spezza scored his 5th from Martin Havlat and Chris Kelly, made it 4-1. Then finally in the third, Sheldon Sorry from Alexei Yashin and Pavel Datsyuk, and Alexei Yashin with his 25th from Marian Osa and Martin Avlat, 6-1 the final score. Alexei Yashin's having a great season so far. Mark Recchi has produced 750 assists in his career, and he had a goal and 3 assists against Buffalo to reach that plateau. There was no stopping Steve Ruchin in Anaheim. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Avalanche. No suspension for Ryan Johnson in Dallas. Alright, and we are about to play the Islanders again. Right, this time we're playing them at home. So they are 9th right now. They are 19, 20, and 4. We just played them. This time they're sending Roberto Luongo in net, and we are going with Ryan Miller. And we won 4-1. We outshot the Islanders 64-9. What a domination. Alexei Yashin was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Daniel Alfredson was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Marian Osa was the third star with an assist. 14,711 people in attendance for that one. Alfredson scored the first goal of the game on the power play. It was his 15th from Brian McCabe and Alexei Yashin. And the Islanders tied the game up, but Matt Cullen scored shortly after from Martin Avlat and Joe Thornton, made it 2-1 after 1. Then in the second period we had Pavel Datsyuk scored from Marian Osa, 3-1. Then finally in the third period Patrick Eliash scored on the power play from Alexei Yashin and Daniel Alfredson. It was 4-1 after 3, which is the end of the game. Kevin Adams is back from suspension in Tampa Bay. And Jeff Finley is available, but I'm not going to pick him up. And we are playing our next game already against the Bruins. Sylvain Lefebvre has played in 1,000 games in his career. He now plays for Atlanta. He did that against Carolina. Didn't get a point. Jaromir Jagr also played in his 1,000th game on the same night. However, he got 2 goals and an assist against Minnesota. Kevin Hatcher has accomplished 500 assists in his career with an assist against the Flyers. Kevin Hatcher is still going. He's 37. He's only a 1-star player anymore. Not a super strong player. Alright, so the Bruins are in town, and they are 17, 24, and 4, which is good for 11th in the East. We are 2-1 against the Bruins. We did lose 1 game against them in Boston. It was 2-1. We're playing them at home right now, though. So Tomas Vokun in net for Boston, and Ryan Miller in net for the Sens. And we won 42, so yet again, another win. We outshot Boston 53-22. Brian McCabe was the first star of that game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Josh Olden for Boston was the second star with an assist. And Alexei Yashin, third star with a goal and an assist. 15,124 people in attendance for the Senators. So Boston opened up the scoring in the first, and it was 1-0 Boston after 1. Then in the second, Brian McCabe scored on the power play from Patrick Eliash and Alexei Yashin to tie it up at 1. Then Boston took the lead again, 2-1. And then we scored 3 more in the second period, and that was all of the scoring that was left. So Daniel Alfredson scored from Datsuk and McCabe, then Yashin from Volchenkov and Alfredson, and finally Selinger from McCabe and Cullen. 4-2, and nobody scored in the third, obviously, so 4-2 the final score. Jan Bulish is suspended in Minnesota, is going to miss 5 games. And we are about to play the Islanders again. Oh, a familiar face is available, Brian Berard. See, Brian Berard is pretty much a good example of, I have the game engine determining, like, you know, carrier paths and everything, but it's following real life too much, because Brian Berard had that eye injury that basically ruined his career. He was a pretty good defenseman and he had a pretty good potential and everything, but he had that injury when he was rather young, and then after that he was never the same player. And I think that, you know, that's why Brian Berard fell as a alpha star player at 26 years old, is because that happened in real life, so that kind of followed that trajectory. Anyway, it was a mini rant. It doesn't make me all that angry or anything, but I wish that, you know, for stuff like that, that it wouldn't impact my fictional universe, basically. Alright, so playing the Islanders again, they are now dropped to 19, 22, and 4, and are 10th in the East, so we're starting to hate those guys. Ryan Miller in net again for us, Roberto Luongo again for the Islanders, and we won 5-2. We outshot them 54-21. Joe Thornton was the first star of that game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Brian McCabe was the second star with 2 assists. And Patrick Elias was the third star with a goal. Oof. We took a 5-0 lead into the first. So that was all of our goals. Nicholas Avlid scored first from Mike Selinger and Magnus Arvidsson. Then Marian Osa from Joe Thornton. Patrick Elias from Brian McCabe and Joe Thornton. Joe Thornton from Zdeno Chara and Alexei Yashin. And finally Tim Gleason from Brian McCabe and Matt Cullen. 5-0 after 1. The Islanders did score 2 goals in the third period, but it was too little, too late. Alright, suspension over for Mark Popovich in Anaheim. He is back in the lineup. Oh, look at this picture. It looks like he's holding his breath or something. Or maybe he had a little too much extra cake or something. Maybe he's been training with Wendell Clark. Alright. Alright, we are about to play the Carolina Hurricanes, whom we just played not too long ago. So now they are 20, 23, and 3. Still 9th in the East, and we are 1-0, well, technically 1-1 against them. The game doesn't track the overtime losses right when you look at the record here when you play historical. Alright, Tim Thomas is going to be in net for that one. Steve Veliket in net for the Hurricanes. And we won 4-3. We outshot the Hurricanes 52-17. Zdeno Chara was the first star. He had a goal and 2 assists. Chris Pronger, the second star with 2 assists. And Patrick Elias was the third star with 2 goals and an assist. So, 45 seconds into the game, the Hurricanes scored, made it 1-0, but shortly after, Zdeno Chara scored from Patrick Elias and Sheldon Souray. And then Alexei Yashin unassisted on the power play. It was 2-1, and then Eric Stahl scored for Carolina, made it 2-2, and then finally Patrick Elias scored from Zdeno Chara, made it 3-2 after 1. Then the Hurricanes tied the game up in the second period, and it was tied at 3 going into the third. And late in the third period, Patrick Elias scored from Zdeno Chara and Joe Thornton. Carolina was not able to tie the game, and we won 4-3. Patrick Elias will be watching from the sidelines after suffering a groin soreness. He's going to miss 7 days. Yeah, I'm gonna keep him on the lineup just in case. Yes, I know. It's okay. Big game for Ilya Kovalchuk in Atlanta. He had a hat-trick 3 goals against Buffalo. No one could stop Luke Robitaille, who had a hat-trick as well against the Flames. We're really playing every other day this month. That's a lot of games. Alright, so we are about to play the Pittsburgh Penguins at home. Pittsburgh's doing pretty good. They are 26, 19, and 3. Good for 6th in the East. We are 1-0-1 against Pittsburgh, the one being a tie. So let's see if we can beat them again. They beat on us so much when I started this playthrough. I will never feel bad for beating them now. So Trevor Kidd in net for Pittsburgh. Ryan Metter in net for the Senators. And we won 2-0. So shout out. We outshot Pittsburgh 41-21. Zdeno Chara was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Trevor Kidd was the second star with 39 saves. And Mario Lemieux, despite not getting any points, was the third star. 16,143 people in attendance for the Sens, and Martin Havlat opened up the scoring in the first on the power play from Michael Ryder and Zdeno Chara. It was 1-0 after 1. And then in the third period, Marianosa scored from Zdeno Chara and Daniel Alfredson. It was 2-0, and that was the final score. Nice little game. Oh, Chris Chelios is suspended in Chicago. He's going to miss 2 games. Still a 5-star player at 41. Suspension over for Cleary. Back in the lineup. Teemu Selanne extends his point streak to 12 games with a goal and an assist against San Jose. Ooh, Selanne is starting to decline a little bit. He is a 4-star player now. A strong night for Peter Bondra, who had 5 assists against Florida. That is a pretty good night. And we are about to play the Rangers at home. So we have 4 games left here in January. So the Rangers are 27, 17, and 4. That's good for 5th in the East. We are 2-0 against the Rangers this year, 6-0 and 4-1 wins. So Henrik Lundqvist is going to be in net for the Rangers. He's going to face Ryan Miller. And we have another shutout. We won 3-0. So we outshot the Rangers 40-9. Martin Havlat was the first star of that game. He had 2 assists. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with 2 assists. And Alexei Yashin was the third star with a goal. 16,545 people in attendance. So the numbers are higher, but it's not full capacity still, even though I'm a 2 Stanley Cup champion and 2 years in a row too. And right out of those. So, yeah. Alright, Alexei Yashin opened up the scoring in the first from Martin Havlat and Pavel Datsyuk, and then nobody scored until the third period. Chris Kelly scored from Sheldon Surrey, and then Daniel Alfredson in an empty net from Pavel Datsyuk and Martin Havlat. 3-0 is the final score. Al McInnes has played in 1,500 games. Didn't get a point, though. Played against Tampa Bay, 40 years old. Al McInnes still 3 stars. Teemu Selanne extends his point streak to 13 games. He had an assist against Detroit. Oh, we have a couple days off, huh? Before we play against the Stars. Bulish suspension ends, back in the lineup in Minnesota. Brad May, available, not picked up by me. Alright, lots of news. Scott Mellenby has competed in 1,250 games against the Avalanche. No points for Scott Mellenby, 37 years old. Don Sweeney has played in 1,000 games. Did that against the Islanders. No points for him either. Shane Doan has a great game. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against Calgary in a 11-3 game. And of course, Teemu Selanne in that same game had a great game as well. 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points. So that makes it 14 games for him with at least a point. Chris Chelios is back from suspension. And Patrick Elias is feeling a little better. Alright, we are going to be finishing the month on the road. So we're going to go to Dallas first, where we are going to face the Stars, a team that is struggling mightily. They are 14, 28, and 10. We did not play the Stars so far this year, so let's take a look at their lineup. No injuries over there. Right, so Frederic Cassivi and Mike Smith in net. Mike Smith is really young, so they are both Alpha Star goaltenders. So right there, that's not a good start. On D, they have Joel Bouchard, Peter Buzik, Zinger, Boileau, Daly, Namestnikov. That's terrible. Dear God, they have horrible goaltending and horrible D. Oglund, Johansson, Andreas Dackel is in Dallas now. Steve Ott, Brendan Morrow, Johnson, Kevin, Modano, Walker. Yeah, the forwards are fine. The forwards is actually a pretty good mix of players up front, but man, that D and that goaltending. Alright, Ryan Metter is going to be in net for us. He's going to face Mike Smith. And we won 6-2. We outshot the Stars 65-25. Alexei Yashin was the first star. He had a goal and 2 assists. Daniel Alfredson was the second star with 2 goals. And Marian Osa was the third star with 2 goals as well. So Osa opened up the scoring in the first 57 seconds into the first. Assisted by Joe Thornton. Then Dallas tied the game. And then we scored 3 goals. Alexei Yashin scored unassisted. Then Daniel Alfredson on the power play from Brian McCabe and Alexei Yashin. And Marian Osa scored again from Sheldon Surrey and Mike Salinger. It was 4-1 after 1. Then Tim Gleason scored his 5th in the second period from Brian McCabe and Jason Spezza. Made it 5-1. And then Dallas scored, made it 5-2. And finally, in the third period, Daniel Alfredson scored from Chris Kelly and Alexei Yashin, 6-2, the final score. No further punishment for Eric Lindros, who is not suspended with the Flyers. Drew Bannister was not as lucky for the Panthers. He's going to miss 5 games. Brad Stewart in San Jose is also suspended. He's going to miss 4 games. Eliash is almost okay, which is fine. We didn't put him on the injured reserve or anything, so he can just step in whenever he's ready. And we are about to play against the Phoenix Coyotes. The Phoenix is doing a lot better than Dallas was. They are 26, 17, and 6. Let's take a look at their lineup. We have not played them this year so far. Oh, they have a lot of D that are injured. So Tommy Albeline is hurt. Darren Van Imp is hurt. O.C. Vananen is hurt. They're all going to miss time. Chris Draper is also hurt and not going to play, so they have Nikolai Abibulin in net with Patrick Desrochers as the backup. Now the D's going to look a little raw because they have all of those injuries, so they have Bizina, Malik, Derek Walser, Mathieu Dandonneau, Boris Mironov, and Teppo Numinen. Even then, that's still better than Dallas's D. Shane Doan, Dean McCammon, Keith Kitchuk, Jean-Guy Trudel, Ryan Beda, Chris Draper, Christopher Colanos, Alexei Zamnov, Stu Barnes, Paul Ely, Daniel Briere, Mike Knubel, Timo Selani, Stacy Roost, and Frederick Schustrom. That's I think they play for their record. I think the team they have should have around the record that they have. That's how I feel. Tim Thomas is going to be in net. He's going to face Nikolai Abibulin. And we won 3-2. Another great month for the Suns. 58-12, the shots in our favor. Marian Osa was the first star with 2 assists. Keith Kitchuk was the second star with 2 assists. And Martin Avlat was the third star with an assist. So Phoenix opened up the scoring in the first. It was 1-0 after 1. Then Joe Thornton scored, assisted by Marian Osa and Pavel Datsyuk, made it tied at 1. And then Teppo Numinen scored again. He was the one who scored in the first as well, made it 2-1 Phoenix. But we would score twice in the third period. Anton Volchenkov scored a very rare goal, assisted by Martin Avlat, and then Alexei Yashin scored his 30th on the power play from Marian Osa and Daniel Alfredson. 3-2 the final score. And we stopped Timo Selani. So his point streak ended at 14 games because he couldn't get a point against us. Alan Latang is available. I'm not going to pick him up. Steve Yzerman has racked up 800 goals in his career with a goal against New Jersey. 38-year-old Steve Yzerman, 3-star player. Alright. And Eliash seems to be ready to play now. Alright, and we have one more game this month. It's going to be against Toronto again. Chris Allen in Colorado is hurt. He's going to miss 4 months because of a fractured coracoid bone in his shoulder that happened against the Mighty Ducks. In that same game, Owen Nolan played in his 1000th game. Alright, so final game of the month, playing in Toronto. Toronto's 21, 26, and 5 right now, and they are 10th in the East. I think they rose a little bit. I think they've been doing it a little bit better. Alright, not against us, so we are 2-0 against them, and they were 2 shutouts. Let's make it 3 shutouts in a row. Let's make all the Sens fans happy. Ryan Miller is going to be in net for Ottawa, and Ty Conklin in net for Toronto. And we won 4-1. Dang, we allowed a goal. We outshot them 63-19. Daniel Alfredson was the first star. He had 2 goals. Sheldon Surrey was the second star with an assist, and Zdeno Chara was the third star with an assist as well. Chris Kelly scored first in the first period, assisted by Martin Avlat. It was 1-0 Sens after 1. Then Patrick Eliash scored his 20th in the second period, assisted by Sheldon Surrey, and Zdeno Chara made it 2-0 after 2. Then Toronto scored at in the third period, made it 2-1. But then Daniel Alfredson scored his 20th from Nicholas Avlid and Jason Spezza, and he scored after that his 21st in an empty net from Joe Thornton and Brian McCabe. 4-1 was the final score. Oof. So Ryan Metter got hurt, and I was a little scared. It's only for 4 days, so we're good. I don't have to put him on injured reserve or anything. But still, a little bit of a scare. Alright, and we are February 1st, so that's where I'm going to stop. So Mario Lemieux suspended. Oh, wow. Oh, dear God, he's going to miss 10 games. What did Mario Lemieux do? Wow. Well, Mario Lemieux's barely going to play in February. That's crazy. Alright, so the players of the month were Alexei Yashin for us and Ilya Brizgalov for Anaheim. We had a great month. We really did. I think we lost only 1 game, like at the start of the month. Lost 1 game, did pretty good. We now have an 18-point lead on the Flyers. So I think we're running away with the title in the East, unless there's a catastrophe waiting for us right around the corner. So let's see. Yep. Let's take a look in the West. So Edmonton is the best team in the West, and they are 16 points behind us. So we're doing pretty good. So Edmonton, Detroit, San Jose, Colorado, Phoenix, St. Louis, Los Angeles, and Columbus. That's an interesting... that's interesting. I kind of like that. Alright, now let's take a look at our stats. We already know that Yashin is having a killer season, despite missing, what, 10 games or something? Alright, so Yashin has 58 points in 42 games. That's pretty good. Then Alfredson 48 in 52, Eliash 44 in 49, Datsuk 39 in 45, Surrey 38 in 52, Thornton 37 in 52, and then it starts to dwindle down from there. Osa is 30 and 40, he missed quite a bit of time. And it goes down from there. Alright, and in the league, Brettel is all alone atop the goal-scoring lead with 40 goals. To note, second place, Alexei Yashin with 30. And then Mark Rickey is the best passer with 40 assists. And the best scorer is Brettel with 71 points. Yashin is 4th with 58. Alright, so we are as dominant as ever. That's good. That's nice. That's why we play those games. It's definitely not to lose all the time. So that playthrough started with a lot of losing and everything, but we've turned the corner, and now we're pretty much giving everybody a beating almost every single game we play. Not necessarily in the score, but in shots on goal and everything. Yeah, we almost always have in the 50 or 60 shots. So that's going to be it for today, folks. As usual, I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you've liked the video, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, any of the above. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.